Alright, so Jeskai Control. We've played a few different iterations of this archetype. Actually kind of like the look of this one. I think it's got some nice things going on inside of it. So the first is that if you've watched my control content before in the standard format, you know I'm a big fan of having ways to kill our opponents. We've got 2 Niv and 2 Ral Zarek in the main deck here. I actually really like the split of Teferi and Ral. The reason for this is twofold. The first is that you obviously can't have 2 of the same Planeswalker in play at the same time. So having a split here, you're less likely to draw 2 of the same one. The other thing is that control decks with win conditions are becoming more popular in Standard. So I think Ral is actually very good in the Jeskai mirror matches because while Teferi's downtick is like pseudo removal, eventually the threat comes back, whereas Ral can actually like take opposing Nivs or Crackling Drakes off the table permanently. This is actually your submission, Teacup. So this is your Jeskai submission. I turned the second expansion into a third Teferi because I think Teferi's good enough to have 3 of them. Like two seems light. Yeah, it's actually the only change I made before we started. Not playing at least 3 Teferi seemed bad to me. So we're gonna start with this one tonight. There's definitely your username on the tapped out. Everything else is card for card was on your tapped out page as of this evening. This deck also notably has a couple pair of Ixalan's bindings in the main, which I actually really like that as well. That card's a little bit medium against green-black, but I think this archetype in general has a lot of good tools against green-black, and binding is pretty good in both the mirror match and against Drakes. This hand has a couple of tapped lands in it, but it's pretty reasonable other than that. We're on the draw. We've got 26 lands in our deck, so let's hit a land or 2. Yeah, I think not playing 4 Teferi is fine, but I think 3 is a good number. Like you want to see one most games. What's going on, right, Cat? All right, yay, perfect. So not a second white source for cleansing Nova. This shock probably means Drakes. They likely have an opt here. Could also be Jeskai Control with opt. Some of the Jeskai configurations do play opt. Smooth their draws out a little bit, help their Drakes and their Niv-Mizzets to touch. Tony the Brony, been loving the Blue-Black Pirates. Thank you for the support. It's my favorite deck by a lot for sure. Grixis something or other. Okay. Could still be Drakes, which is like a small black splash, maybe for the back half of Discovery. Could also be something like Dragons, maybe. Kind of hope it's not Dragons, because Dragons is kind of a tough matchup for Jeskai in my experience. If they play something here, we'll probably expansion it. Nope, doesn't look like it. What's going on, Packwolf? Thank you for the 9-month resub. I appreciate that. Welcome back. No, I don't really watch any anime. I'm kind of okay with their, like, not being, I'm just gonna go ahead and expansion them back here. My hand's, like, pretty good, and I'd like to be a little bit proactive here. That also lets me surveil here, which is nice. Need more boils in Standard. That's something. Huh. Vraska's Contempt versus Syncopate. I'm going to take the Syncopate here because I don't want them to syncopate my Chemister's Insight. I'm going to ditch the land because Chemister's Insight will likely propel us into more lands. So they get to take one of my mini Doomblades. Actually, probably the Ionize, right? I assume Ionize is going to be the one to go. They took Chemister's Insight. That's cute. Okay. Play the island since they don't know about this yet. Let's go ahead, dude. That is a phenomenal draw. I'm gonna go ahead and play an untapped land here, just in case my opponent drew another Syncopate. Also lets me look up Ionize here. This card could easily run away with the game if they don't have a Field of Ruin for it. Get to sit here and activate this one. That one can stay right there. How many cards are in my bin? Only 3. I'm just gonna play Drago here for a little bit. Sit my land drops. Father card for the win. Yeah, I like the Scales deck a lot. It feels really powerful. It's very consistent. We 4-1 and 5-0 with it pretty consistently. Goodbye. Second rail, huh? I'm actually gonna go ahead and just pass the turn one more time here, because this way, if I play Ral next turn, I can also play an 8th land with Ionize as well. I'm gonna keep that there so I can play Ral and guaranteed pick a fight. Not surprised to see this just resolve here, since they have the Vraska's Contempt. I would love a Chemister's Insight. I'm gonna go ahead and fight over this Contempt, I think, here. Am I? I have a Ral of my own. Sure. I think we're pretty far ahead regardless of what we do here. Yeah, I changed my mind. I actually just want that to happen. I don't have a great answer, like if they stuck a Planeswalker of their own here, so I'm just gonna hang tight for a hot second. Got 5 cards in my bin. Watch match 1 of Boros turns. My condolences this morning. A couple of bucks for dealer's choices going on, G-Goat. It's fine. Getting beat up comes to the territory a little bit sometimes. Alright. Punch me in the face. So, if I bin the top card of my deck here, I get to flip Search for Azcanta, which is nice. Get a lot of looks at Teferi here. If this finds Teferi, I can actually play Teferi here as well.
Oh, come on. I just want to peek. The weight is killing me.
I just want to peek. The weight is killing me.
Choose wisely, because the other one's going bye-bye.
Glad to see you playing video games. How does the idea of Explorer creatures plus Angel sound to you? Probably pretty reasonable. I'm gonna activate Azcanta here. Am I? Yeah, that's fine. So my Ral just gets to like kill this really cleanly, right? It's actually like exactly what we talked about, right? Like we have Ral here to clean up Nivs, as opposed to Teferi, who just like leaves them in play as a problem. Ionize is a good pickup, and Teferi's a great pickup. All right, shoot that one. I think I'm obligated to Ionize here. They get to draw a couple cards.
Come on. Breathe through it.
Gross. Rail down. Oh, they don't have another dive down. Their Niv is... Niv's dead, right? Did I didn't miscount this. Did I? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, we're good. Should I have used Justice Strike over Ionize to save a counterspell? That's interesting. Maybe? Yeah, maybe that's better. I didn't think about it that way. Like we were casting a spell either way there. So yeah, I think you're right that Justice Strike is better there. Well, they have a game, as they say. Yeah, I'd have a counterspell up right now. If I'd have used Justice Strike. Yeah, Justice Strike was definitely the better one there. Now the scary part is there's probably 4 Nivs in their deck. So I wouldn't be too surprised to see like another one slam down here. Deal. So they get to pick the rail back up, but they can't cast him this turn, so that's nice. Wait, did they play a land yet? I think they played a land. Well, I would have gotten to counter the Erasure, so it does matter. I'm gonna activate Azcanta now because then Teferi can untap Azcanta. Boop. There's only 30 cards in our deck. I guess Teferi means it's hard for us to deck, right? But still a small concern. So I can activate Azcanta plus cast Chemister's Insight still, which is nice. There could be some merit to using the Ixalan's binding there, but like they both lose to a counterspell, and I think I'd rather have the bindings in my deck later when they're more likely to resolve. Syncopate for a bunch, yep.
I never back down from the count. Ooh, let's see what we got.
Ooh, let's see what we got. They are down to 24 cards in their deck, which seems good for us.
Hold that thought.
Hold that thought. Well, that's a good one. Spot alive. What's going on, Big Beanie? Yep. Started a little bit early tonight. Perfect. So yeah, I definitely just like take Raoul off the table here, right? This is game 1, match 1. I don't really keep track of records while we play, though. The record doesn't really tell you much about the deck, or why it's good or bad.
You know what? I'm not done.
I'm not done yet. Alright, so now we're just gonna start, like, hammering these Chemister's Insights, right? Just start chaining through and going off with Niv, basically. So I've got 5, 9 mana, so I can double Insight, which will deal 6 to them. I've got 23 cards in my deck. Even if they answer this with 23 cards, I'm going to draw 6. I'll probably find another Niv, which will close the game out the following turn. Goodbye, friend. Alright, and post-board control mirrors are weird. So like game 1 in control mirrors, both players have a bunch of cards that are kind of poop. Whereas post-board, they get to trim a bunch of those cards, and like things get a little bit dicier to a degree. Huh? The in out here isn't super clean. Maybe I pass on Banefire. I definitely want the Drakes, the Negates, the Deceitful Strokes. I want to keep Justice Strike in because having maximum ways to keep their Nivs off the table is pretty important. Yeah, they're a discard-based control deck, so Banefire's a little bit medium there, I think. Anyways. Serious Les, thank you for the brand new Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome. Is Blizzard mid-range essentially a Phoenix deck without Phoenixes, or actually some kind of spicy mid-range deck? It has Phoenixes in it, just not, it has Rekindling Phoenix in it. The deck list is in the deck queue. You can always see what we have coming up there. Or almost always, I suppose. Sometimes it's not, but usually it is. Drakari, thank you for the 3 months. I appreciate you re-upping your Twitch Prime here again. Welcome back. Big fan of seeing what you put together with the Pirates list. Was glad to catch that on YouTube today. Really interesting seeing the swap of Thought Erasure for Castle. Yeah, I think I'm pretty happy with that change. Like, just like having less, like, the thought erasure change in there is similar to logic that we, like, arrived at by, like, playing all lightning bolts in the main deck of blue red tempo and modern, which is like you don't want dead cards in any matchup. If they have a really fast Thief of Sanity, this hand could get in trouble, but it just, like, has all the cards we want, right? I don't think any matchups for the deck are horrible most of the life card. I think everything's winnable with proper play. In fact, I'm just like, when people ask me what matchups are bad, I'm not just like some random person who's like gonna tell you this is my brew and my brew is perfect and it has no bad matchups. It crushes all of the net decks. Just like, no, I've like played games with it and I like realize which ones are good and which ones are bad. So like when you ask me which ones are bad, I tell you. Bad. This isn't modern. Bad doesn't mean impossible. It just means like you're not a favorite to win if you played a bunch of matches. If they syncopate me here, I get to untap and jam Ralzeric, which seems fine for me. And if they don't syncopate me here, I just get to hit my land drops for forever. So that sounds great too. Put this into play tapped. We'll turn one of these many lands in my hand into another Chemister's Insight here in a second. I think the rest of the Ixalan flip cards will find a place in standard. Are they too slow and clunky? They're pretty much too slow and clunky, I think. I'm gonna go ahead and fight over this, so I would like to keep my Ralzeric in my hand ideally. It's not mana efficient, but I definitely think it's what I want to do here. Yeah, that's one of the many reasons that I think Ral is really good right now. I'm gonna play an untapped land here, because this way, when I jumpstart Chemister's Insight, I could find a 2-mana counterspell to fight over something if I need to. We've got another Negate and at the same full short deck that could stop something potentially. I don't know, I think the tokens plan is just like counter or kill their important payoffs, and then like try and go over the top of them. You just want to like use your health total as a giant resource. I think if you stick a Curious Obsession or a Thief of Sanity, you can like race that matchup. And like Thief of Sanity actually just like lets you use their cards against them, which is appealing. This is actually really sweet here because, especially with the Sinister Sabotage, like we have double counterspell right now. Never forget that like this is a funky looking counterspell. I think I'm just on like because I've got like 2 more lands in my hand. All right, so I'm gonna expansion this first, and then depending on what's in their hand, I reserve the right to Sinister Sabotage it after. So what do you have? So I'm taking this for sure. I'm getting rid of that. Do I wanna counterspell that? Do I just let this happen? No, I think I'm gonna go ahead and sabotage this. Like, if I sabotage and then they syncopate me, they might syncopate me here, which is fine. They like take my Teferi or my Realm, and I untap and play the other one. And, like, get going. And I'm actually kind of happy that they left me Ral here, because leaving me Ral actually gives me the most draws at finding a counterspell here. Like, it gives me my draw step plus 2 looks at a counterspell now, whereas Teferi would only give me 1 extra.
The weight is killing me.
I'll take search. And knowing they have dive down is pretty important. Is that a thing, Captain Harris? I feel like that's not a thing. I feel like I would have heard of that if that was a thing.
Decisions.
Yeah, you can post it in chat. We have moderators on this channel, like a lot of channels. Links are enabled in my chat. Ixalan's binding, please.
The weight is killing me.
I will take a Crackling Drake. They have plenty of things in here. All right, so I've got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 lands. So if I Azcanta, I can't binding plus Ionize. I'm gonna go ahead and just play Crackling Drake here. It's likely gonna die to Ral, but if Ral kills this, that means it's not drawing a card for my opponent next turn, which is kind of a win for me. I'm just gonna let this happen, I think.
Well, let's see what the wind blows in.
It's actually already in the queue, Denon. I had someone at it already. It's got like 30 points or something. If they have a Niv-Mizzet here, we could be in trouble. Although I guess they need land plus Niv-Mizzet. Drawing another Ionize is great.
Oh, come on. I just want to peek.
Do we alt Ral ASAP? I think so. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this. Drawing the land's actually not terrible here, because it means that this finds binding. I can bind this plus have a counter spell up. Perfect. And this tucks in there, Ral. Maybe I'm supposed to take expansion there, because expansion would give me 2 counter spells to protect my Ral ultimate.
Because the other one's going bye-bye.
Does tier 2 get to add points to decks? Yep. Yeah, tier 2 subs get to add 10 points when they renew every month to something that's already in there. All right, now to win the game before we deck.
Signs indicate that hurt.
I can't get wrong. Let's skip to the good part.
And now I like don't really care if this does a thing. I'm gonna play Clifftop Retreat here rather than a tap land, because when I untap 2 lands here, this will let me Azcanta plus Disdainful Stroke, right? Yeah, I can Azcanta plus Disdainful Stroke. Oh, I guess I could have done that. No, I couldn't do that with the tap land.
Decisions.
All right, 27 cards. So we got to cast 4 spells to kill them. 4 instants and sorceries. It's cute that we're still playing Magic.
We need to move quickly.
Man, does it even trigger Ral Emblem? How unlucky. Yeah, Ral kills people. He's like a real answer to things like Niv-Mizzet, and he actually ends the game, which is great. Like I said, I feel like we played the preferred iteration of Jeskai Control is on my website. It's actually pretty close to this one. It's a 3-2 Ral Teferi split like this deck does. Good clean living. Cast 20 red or white spells. We're gonna get that one done real quick here. great draw on tap flame. Yeah, I basically never play the competitive constructed events. Like, I don't need gold, and I have all the cards I need on this application. So, no, worth noting, this is going to come into play tap. Basic Mountain's my only land type here, so I want to play this. This is why we have 4 Ionize and 1 Sabotage. Ionize is just easier to cast. On Arena, do I play 5 matches with each deck? I do not. I play so sometimes I do. Sometimes we even do more than 5, depending on how quickly they go. So basically, I do a minimum of 2 matches with each deck, and past 2 matches, I play a deck for up to an hour and a half. So some decks, like control decks, are like, that first match for this deck took 26 minutes. So, you know, if we have a couple more long matches, we'll probably play 3 or 4 matches with this deck, where some of the faster decks we play more than that. Looks like another control matchup. I'm not rich, I just like do this for my job so I can buy cards and write them off on my taxes, so. We're playing Pirates today. How late am I going tonight? Probably pretty late. I started early. We're doing at least 3 decks on Arena. I might do a 4th standard deck, or I might play some Artifact 2 at the end tonight. That released today, so I was able to buy cards for some constructed. The classic turn 5 tapped Glacial Fortress. Is this a discard spell plus counter backup to force it through? Yeah, if we play another deck, it'll probably be Pirates. I need to get in as many reps with Pirates as possible. I assume we're getting negated here, and that's why they shocked. They could also have Thought Erasure, if they want to, like, Erasure to pick this back up afterwards. If they have Syncopate, I can pay for Syncopate. What did Artifact card prices look like? I paid $10 for Wrath of God today, per copy, and I had to buy 3 of them. To answer your question, they were like varying drastically. There's a lot of volatility in it, it felt like. So what does that shock there mean? What does that shock there mean? Yeah, I'm told Axe is super expensive and Drow is kind of up there. I'm really kind of miffed because apparently I needed to enable some special Steam thing on my account. I actually opened a 2nd copy of one of the expensive heroes and I can't sell it for a week, which I'm sure the price is going to tank within a week from now because of the stupid Steam Guard thing or whatever it is.
Let's see what the wind blows in.
I just like foolishly assumed that like the 2-factor I had with my email would let me buy and sell on their marketplace, and apparently that's not true. It's not the case. How dead is Ral? Pretty dead? It's fine, get through a card. I think I'm hanging tight on him for a hot second here. They could be an Eldest Reborn deck, and I'd rather not jam into that. I'm doing this in response here because if my opponent draws a Sinister Sabotage, I'd rather they not be able to pick this back up. That's perfect. So this is one of their better piece sources of card advantage. So I'm going to go ahead and play Ixalan's Binding here. And then if they have a counterspell, I'll expansion their counterspell back at them. $15. Yeah, Drow's probably dropped a bunch too then. Like, and that's really annoying too. Like, the Drow I opened when I listed it, when I went to list it today, they were all listed at 20, and there were people looking to buy at 18, so I listed mine at 18 to sell, and now there's a 7-day hold on it, so I'm sure it's going to be worthless by the time I can actually sell it. It's like spilt milk since I can write it off on my taxes, but like, it's just annoying. Yep, that has to happen. You know what's going on, Nox? Listen, Nox, I put Cheating Death and Wrath of God in the same deck. It's just like good clean deck building. What do I even want to ditch here? I think I'm ditching the Lava Coil. I'm gonna like ditch the Lava Coil, and they're gonna like immediately play a Nicol Bolas, and I'm gonna hate myself. But yeah, finding artifact cards gave me a whole new appreciation for like the MTG arena economy. Like, secondary markets suck. Am I gonna be live on Saturday? I don't know. There's a non-zero chance I go play a paper magic tournament in Chicago, but it's also supposed to storm on Saturday. I don't think I'm gonna drive up to Chicago if it's storming. What we got? There's Nikki B. So unfortunately, I can't expansion here as well. They keep pausing like they have a 2-mana counter spell. Like, am I finally getting negated here? Is that what's happening? Oh, they've had expansion this whole time. That makes sense. I was like, they keep stopping like they have a counter spell of some sort. I can actually just kill this Nicol Bolas with explosion, right? So I just like bin Chemister's Insight and I'm just gonna explosion this idiot for 4 here. I really wish there was a max X button in this application. So we have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I can do this up for up to 7. I didn't call my opponent an idiot. I called Nicol Bolas an idiot. Nicol Bolas is a Magic the Gathering card that doesn't have feelings, so I can call him an idiot. I didn't Sinister Sabotage my opponent. I Sinister Sabotaged their Nicol Bolas. There's a difference. Nick's a big dumb stupid. He ain't got no feelings. Don't make Nicole feel bad. Poor Nick, he's doing his best to get by in this hard world. Oh no, I have to discard a card. How can I ever spare an entire card, opponent? All right, I guess I'll try and find an answer in here somewhere. I guess. Oh. Bye, friends. I wonder if they have another expansion the way they're pausing. Feels like they might. Only 26 cards in my deck. Probably kill them before that's relevant. Disinformation Campaign is under binding, which is one of their better card advantage engines in this matchup. The bindings have been really good so far. Really happy with that addition to this archetype. Teferi, don't mind if it does. Stop trying to tap my Azcanta game. So I think I actually want to lead on Teferi here, and I should talk about this. So the reason why I'm leading on Teferi here is, wait, what? I could just pay for that, right? Nice Magic the Gathering card. I can pay for it, and I can still Azcanta this turn. Teferi's great. So I'm leading on Teferi here, and the reason why I'm leading on Teferi here is I'd much rather Teferi get cleaned up by a Vraska's Contempt or an Eldritch Reborn than my Niv-Mizzet get cleaned up by one of those things. The way they paused earlier makes me think they have another expansion explosion, so if they jam an Eldritch Reborn here, I am going to Ionize, but I'm not expecting it to resolve. I mean, Arena's not trying to screw you on anything. It tells you what it's going to do before it goes to do it. You just gotta pay attention. And again, like, I'm fine with this happening here because I'd much rather fight over Niv being able to live than fight over Teferi being able to live here. All right, so let's get this big dumb dragon down. Let's get this guy down. Alright, we're done here. Excellent. Excellent. I appreciate someone who understands when it's over. Yeah, that is true, actually. It is strange that it preferences one and not the other. I agree with that assessment. Alright, so Stroke's pretty good. Ixalan's Binding is absurd. The extra Sabotage is fine. Expansion Explosion is probably fine. I don't think this is a Crackling Drake matchup. I think I'd rather leave in all my Lava Coils. Or more Lava Coils. That way I can have a way to stop their, what's it called? Gosh, I'm blanking on its name to stop their Nicol Bolas's. I want all three of these. All three of these might be too many. The card's really funny against Thought Erasure. Is a reason to leave it in. What do I want to cut here? Is 3 Lava Coils too many? I like having a good amount of 2-mana removal against the blue-black decks because they tend to bring in Thief of Sanity. But 6 might be too many. Alright, let's do this. I want to favor leaving in the Justice Strike so I can have lots of ways to clean up opposing Niv-Mizzets. That card takes over these controlling matchups very, very quickly. Trim Search for Azcanta? Y'all are crazy. This is exactly the type of matchup you want Search for Azcanta for. Like, occasionally they're going to, like, be aggressive and get under us, but that's not going to happen often. I'm going to bottom this. I'm looking for a cheap removal spell to make sure Thief of Sanity doesn't run away with the game. I got you, Rad. Yeah, Trimming Search and aggressive matchup seem fine. This is not an aggressive matchup. They're going to take my search away here. Unless they have like a Field of Ruin or something like that. All right, if they stick a Thief of Sanity here, we're going to be in trouble. If they don't have Thief of Sanity here, Disinformation Campaign would also be kind of bad for us, but if they don't have Disinformation Campaign or Thief of Sanity, we're going to be in a pretty good spot. Perfect. I'm going to lean on the side of conservative and not jam this into play here. There's a good chance we hit 5 lands by turn 5, and then turn 5 we'll just play this while still leaving Ionize up. I really don't want to give them a window to stick Nicol Bolas here. All right, well, that's fantastic. It means I can play this while still holding Disdainful Stroke up, which is ideal. I did give them a chance to draw 3 mana counters, so like now I am giving them a window to stick a Thief of Sanity or a Disinformation Campaign again, but I think that's a worthwhile risk here. Because like if they jam like a 4 or 5 mana card here, I stroke it and then I could untap and jam Teferi if I rip a 5th land, which is ideal. Alrighty, no land, but they didn't have a threat either, so that's good for us. Card gets discarded by Thought Erasure. Literally unplayable. Alright, it's a good draw. I'm not going to put my counter magic down here, but I am happy to have that to gas up with. So if they don't give us something to counterspell again this turn, we'll just go ahead and jam Chemister's Insight. Try and hit some land drops here. Thought Erasure. Alright, so they have an Expansion Explosion in their hand is what this tells us. So Magic Arena gives away a little bit of information there. It automatically holds priority when you have Expansion Explosion in your hand. So if you're pay attention, you can notice things like that. Enjoy your draw too. Really? Alright, so they have a counter spell too. Perfect. Spin the wheel. Show me a land. I'm gonna be conservative and bend that. I just want to hit a land here. Perfect. It feels bad binning a threat, but like getting to 6 mana this turn is like pretty important so I can have double counter. I guess I kind of have double counter, but now I can double counter anything. Do I want to Chemister's Insight this turn? I don't think so. The quality of my hand is good. And this just so like, the Justice Strike is like the worst card in my hand, but it's Niv-Mizzet Insurance. I think having Niv-Mizzet Insurance is pretty important. It's like the answer to the question of what beats my current handful of no buttons is Niv-Mizzet for sure. Will you leave full control on constantly prevent players to give your approach? I'll probably toggle it on and toggle it off. Because it's like poker, right? So like if you're always bluffing, you're gonna get got, but if you're bluffing sometimes, it's more believable. So like if I'm playing a deck where I can like give away things like that, I'll full control sometimes and not full control other times to like keep them off kilter basically. Just like land drops. The search for Azcanta hopefully means we're gonna win this land drop war, and like the next card we end up putting in our bin, we actually get to flip the Azcanta and then start generating card advantage that way. What's going on, Sparklefish? I'm gonna bin that. I have Justice Strike. This lets me flip my Azcanta over. Lets me hit a land here. What do I know about poker? I played a lot of cash poker during college. And then when I no longer needed to make money playing cash poker, I was bored of it and I stopped playing. Poker's like a really boring game. If you're playing poker well, it involves a ton of waiting. Alright, land tier is actually a good draw because it means I can play Teferi while holding up 2 counterspells still, so let's do that. Hey, tier 2 TKS, thank you for the brand new tier 1 sub. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome. I'm just gonna go ahead and let this happen here. Like, I'm not in a rush. Like, the Azcanta means I'm gonna outcard them most likely. I think this is fine. I want to have 2 counterspells up to answer whatever it is they might be doing next turn. Online pokers? I've never played online poker. I imagine online poker you just play like a bunch of tables at once. That sounds like a really tedious grind. That's like not my definition of fun. I'm sure some other people are into it, but that does not sound like my definition of fun. As long as we have a grip full of counterspells and we're hitting land drops and they aren't, things are good for us. Not fun, but it's living, sure. Online poker is basically being a human bot. Yeah, that sounds about right. So how many mana do I have? I have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I have 12 mana at the moment. Can my hand actually get better? I'm not sure that it can, so I'm actually not going to activate Azcanta here. Yeah, but like, so like, yeah, it can draw Niv. Drawing Niv makes the hand better, but like, Azcanta, like, activating Azcanta doesn't draw Niv, right? Like, it could find a Planeswalker. So I've got 12 mana and they have 10, so I'm a little bit ahead by that metric. Nobody move. Nobody moves. I'd say somebody's gonna pick a fight at some point here and things are gonna get ugly. Yeah, I bought a bunch of artifact cards today. How much did Annihilate come down by? I paid $10 for Annihilate because I wanted to play this afternoon. Punch you in the face. I didn't use Stroke here because Stroke's an incredibly resource efficient counterspell, whereas all these other counterspells cost 3 mana, and I don't need to be resource efficient this turn, and I might need to be resource efficient in the future. Yeah, super tilted. So like the stupid Steam Guard thing cost me like 10 bucks this afternoon. I'll survive, but I'm gonna complain about it for the next week or two. Is there a plan for the next artifact stream? I might do some artifact tonight after we finish Magic. Annihilation is $5. That's great. So I paid $15 too much for 3 copies of Wrath of God, and then I got screwed out of being able to sell my card. I hate secondary markets. They suck so much. Just like nothing but mono feel bads. Interfacing with the artifact secondary market has made me thankful for what Arena is. God bless.
Bruised my ego too.
Do I want to copy this? Or do I'm definitely countering it, but do I want to copy it? Nah, I don't care. I don't even know what to take. It's just not a good card. So Steam Guard is a thing where you have to have a mobile authenticator enabled on your Steam account for a week before you can sell artifact cards on your account for more than $5. And I thought having my Steam 2-factor enabled through my email would count for that, and apparently it just doesn't. It has to be through a mobile device. So like if you don't have a cell phone, you just like get railed.
Trust me. You'll thank me. No time for a break.
Don't you guys have phones? I'm so glad that's a meme. And I had a bunch of people that wanted to suck off Valve telling me that like this is for my own protection. It's like, well, I logged in from the account I always log into Steam on, and I've had 2-factor authentication enabled on my account for a decade. So like if fraud was happening and it's happening from inside my home, I probably have bigger issues than like my Steam account being hacked. The card sales were coming from inside the house. He didn't know what to do. Oh god. I can't even hold all these cards, chat.
Keep up the pace.
Keep up the pace. This might be a deck them with Teferi game. We might be heading into deck them. I think I have 3-factor authentication. Yeah, that's the other thing. I don't know. Like, so like, if you could sell stuff for less than $5 so people can like screw me and liquidate my account for less than that, is that how it works? I think that's how it works. I don't actually, god, this hand is just stupid. Can we just like appreciate my hand for a moment here? I don't think Chad appreciates my hand enough. Bidding the Justice Strike is bad if they play Niv-Mizzet. Deck them with Explosion. Now they have 35 cards still. Oh, you know what? I should have copied their Unmoored Ego and taken the Banefires out of their deck. Banefire is how they get back in this game. Banefire is how they kill this card and keep me from winning. 10 out of 10 should have named Banefire. Enjoy your cards. Your hand can't nearly be as good as mine. Just not possible. If we dodge Banefire here, we need to dodge Banefire for 2 turns. I'm gonna counterspell anything they play here, other than Banefire, obviously. Please try to contempt my Teferi. Oh, we're dead. Why are we dead? We're so dead. Shit. The question is, how many cards can they draw this turn? We're only 2 cards off of a Justice Strike. We know most of our deck here. All right, bust a move. Bust a move. What's going on, goalie? Arena is a gift. It's quite good. Did they just explosion me for 1?
Time for Plan B.
Why counter it? They draw a card anyways. That's fair. Celerius, thank you for the $20 tip. I appreciate that. I think that's for decks you submitted earlier or something. Let's take a peek here. Perfect. For Boros Divine Tokens and Nice Angels. Thank you for the support. I appreciate it. Sure, correct. There's no reason to counter the explosion equals 1. Chad is completely correct.
Hold that thought.
So they can't cast another Niv here. My hand is still great. How are they dead to explosion? Oh, do I actually have it for 12? I do actually have it for 12. It's fine. It's fine. Yeah, we can end step it and kill them, I think. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Yeah. Man, I can't wait to play this game on my cell phone. That one, I think. Did we win? I think I won. 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 Deal. All right, we'll kill them with explosion. Bye, friend. For both our sakes, my name is pronounced Siluris. Siluris. Thank you for the biddies and the donation. I appreciate it. If they kept 2 up, would you go for it? Yeah. I ain't no coward. Look at our huge piles of gold. Ryomax, thank you for the biddies. Evening, hope you're having a good one. Hope everybody's having a good one. We got 700 people here already. Wasn't sure how our numbers were gonna be. I started earlier than I normally do. Pretty good so far though. I've only been up for an hour. Standard's great, arena's great. You like the Azcanta version better than the treasure map one? So the treasure map build is more of a mid-range deck, whereas the Azcanta build is a little bit more focused on being controlling, right? So like when you're all in on Niv-Mizzet, it's a little bit different than when you're trying to like go a little bit longer. Gazelle, thank you for the brand new Twitch Prime. I appreciate that. Welcome. Thanks for shipping your Bezo bucks this way this month. How much gold do I have? 20,000 or 30,000 or something stupid. I had more, and then I ran out of mythic wild cards, and then I bought packs so I could get more mythic wild cards. So my hand needs lands. This isn't very good against me though, because like I've got like 3 cards, probably even 4 that they really want to take, and like Chemister's Insight's gonna help me hit lands. Once if I can get to 4, Chemister's Insight's gonna pull me through the game for sure. Chemister's Insight makes you really good at recovering from discard spells. You just like gas back up after they take your stuff. Look at that! Didn't even need Azcanta. Ain't nobody got time for that. We have a syncopate. Syncopate would be really annoying. Unfortunate. Alright, if we find a land here, I'm just jamming a planeswalker down their throat. Tilt! Oh, no punish for the syncopate play. Any thoughts on good decks for the special Nox Bullets? I'm speaking, I have no idea. It's like some kind of cascade thing, right? Only 2 cards in my bin, so we're pretty far off of flipping this. The opponent also appears to only be blue-black, which means there's a good chance that my opponent has Field of Ruin in their deck, so flipped Azcanta is not necessarily lights out like it is against like Grixis and other 3-color decks. I can stay right there. It's not a land, but it's a no button. We would like to start assembling our no buttons, chat. Yeah. Yeah, third blue black opponent. It's probably confirmation bias, but like I really feel like we hit groupings of archetypes all the time on here. Just like we play against all the blue black, and then we play against all the green black, and then we play against all the mono red. So Thought Erasure with double counterspell up. Search for Azcanta. I thought the best of 3 ladder doesn't have deck strength matchmaking. Did anybody know if there's an official statement on that? I thought deck strength matchmaking was only a best of 1 thing, but I don't know that for sure. If they counter this, it puts a 6th card in my bin, which means I can flip my search for Azcanta next turn. Almost forgot to throw my Bezo bucks your way. Do you mean modern? Because I enjoy Magic. Parts of modern are fine. Like, we played Hardened Scales and Amulet Titan today. It was good. I've just kind of had my fill of getting beat up in modern for the time being.
He's killing me.
We've done a lot of getting beat up in recent memory. And the other word. I had a good time with the Amulet and the other decks. It's just the fair decks and the decks that don't win games have worn on me a bit. I'm gonna try and binding their Azcanta here. Having the Azcanta advantage is a big deal. Yeah, the insurmountable advantages build up very quickly in modern.
Sorry, I'm late.
Yeah, there's a special place in hell for people that don't use the auto tapper. Just let the technology help you. It wants to help you so bad. I guess we're gonna get pretty dumpstered if they have an Eldest Reborn here. Pretty far behind at the moment. Oh, I could have hidden mode Nova'd. Yeah, that's a much better play. That's exactly what I should have done. That is 100% what I should have done. It's the hidden mode. That's why I didn't remember. What is the auto tapper? The auto tapper uses your lands automatically for you. So there I manually tapped because the auto tapper was going to use my search for Azcanta, and I'd rather it didn't use my search for Azcanta. But generally, when you don't have a utility land in play like my opponent has at this entire game, the auto tapper, you just drag your spell out and I cast your spell. This, if you're not familiar, this explains the auto tapper and shows you how to make it function. Interesting that they flashed back or jump started the Chemister's Insight there rather than activating their Azcanta. Another excellent bind is a good pickup. All right, so we're behind on cards, but we're suddenly very up on threat, so that seems good for me. And actually, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and just cast this Chemister's Insight now, so I get the damage points from the Niv-Mizzet here. And again, this is a good example of just like have threats in your control decks that end the game. Like we're both sitting here with a bunch of cards in hand, and I was even behind when this started, and like I just hit my cards that actually win the game, and the game is over. Like they have 8 cards in hand and an active Azcanta, and just stone cold nothing, they're dead. Play cards that kill your opponent in this format. They are very, very good. I mean, I don't really know what their deck is, but they definitely didn't do a whole lot that game. They definitely did not do much that game. Yeah, it's all control, no threats. I agree. And I think they're very poorly positioned. I think the threats in this format are so good that you should be playing them. No boluses. Why the Lava Coil? Oh, you know what? The Lava Coil should be out. I was just on autopilot. Thank you for pointing that out. The Lava Coil should not be in my deck. There's no... Well, I guess they could be on Thief of Sanity post board too. So like leaving some of them in is fine. It's 5 pieces of removal. You want some cheap removal. I like the Planeswalkers a lot. That seems fine. It needs some lands, but we're on the draw. It's got a counter spell, it's got a removal spell. Oh, there's a land, sign me up. Enjoy the ride, chat. We totally didn't see white mana game 1, right? You ever find yourself shying away from certain builds because they're popular? In less diverse standard formats, that's definitely the case for me. In this standard format, even the decks that are popular aren't that heavily represented, so not really. Like everything, the standard format's pretty varied. Oh, that's true. They didn't use the Azcanta because they wanted a white source. That's a good read. It's a very good read, actually. I think the Esper means they're slightly less likely to have Thief of Sanity, but again, Esper's not a super defined archetype, so there's a good chance that like whatever they're playing is a bit of a brew. I'm just gonna let this resolve. I have 2 Ionizes. I've got 3 pair. Like they take my expansion explosion, that's fine. I kind of want to draw 2 cards this turn anyways to try and hit my land drop next turn. No, I don't think I'm supposed to duress back. I think there's a good chance my opponent has a counterspell, and I really just want to be mana efficient and cast Chemister's Insight this turn. By holding the expansion explosion and casting Chemister's Insight this turn, then if I hit my 5th land for turn 5, I'm going to be able to hold up Ionize plus expansion and be mana efficient again the following turn potentially. Alright, Teferi me.
Right on schedule.
Maybe that's loose. Their Syncopate was really good. Yeah, it's probably a bad play to just jam the Insight there. I'm probably just supposed to like miss my land drop for a turn. Yeah, we're bound to lose a game at some point with this deck. I concede when this gets countered.
Lucky shot.
Boop. Boop. Yeah, that was... The Chemister's Insight on my part was wrong. I should have just been okay missing my land drop and just moved along. Only 2 Niv. I like Rail Zurich. I think Rail's pretty good. I like that Rail kills things. Niv is very good. The number of games you lose when you untap with Niv-Mizzet are few and far between. Coffees for closers, and Niv's getting himself a cup of joe for sure. Thought my sound was best up past about going out to eat. Good evening. I'm on a little early tonight. Yeah, sounds fine. Not amazing, but fine. I'd like an Azcanta or a... I'd like an Azcanta or a what's it called, ideally? Or a Chemister's Insight at some point, but definitely a keep here. You know, don't make me show you all my secrets. Nope. Deal. Do 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 do. Do you think it's worth playing that, or is this is just a viewer deck? But I don't know that I'm a fan of Op necessarily. I think if you're on like the full. If you're on like the full boat of Nivs, Op's probably fine, but without maxing out on it, I'm not sure that it's worthwhile. I don't really have good tools for waiting around here, so I'm just gonna head to the Space Jam, I think. And like, if they untap and play their own Teferi, they have to have exactly Negate or Disdainful Stroke to stop this Ixalan's binding on him. And like, if I can bind their Teferi, I'll be pretty far ahead. And like, I don't have a draw 2 here, so I can't really afford to like hang around and let them draw 2 and sculpt their hand, because I'm not going to be sculpting my hand. So I think making them have it is correct. Like, I'm forcing them to have both a, like, this line of play makes me like, okay, you have to have Teferi, and you have to have a 2-mana counter, you have to have a 3-mana counter, or 2 2-mana counters, I guess. Alright, they had it, so I'm going to move along with my life. Maybe find a matchup that's not like a blue control mirror. Played 3 blue control mirrors in a row. Yeah, I was timing people out manually when they use the punt command because the stream rules explicitly say don't use the punt command. But then we just programmed the bot to do it. Technology's great. In other streams that use the MTG bot, there's this culture in the Magic thing where people think it's funny to point out when the streamer messes up, instead of being helpful and constructive and specific like we ask people to be on this channel. So like people just like spam ! punt in chat and the bot would count it on other channels. I'm gonna bottom bat. I need another non-blue source for this Justice Strike. What's going on, Major Pain? Thanks for watching. I'm glad you enjoy it. Thanks for dropping in tonight. I'm gonna go ahead and shock this in. Maybe play like an Electromancer or something next turn. Found another blue matchup. Not a control matchup, but another blue matchup at least. Goalie with the sub gift. Thank you, goalie. It really does, Frank the Mind Sculptor. Arena is such an enjoyable experience. To be fair, like, enjoyable compared to Magic Online is like a low bar, but Arena does a good job at just like being really good software. This silly Crackling Drake dodging my Justice Strikes. There's no justice for this Drake. So the question is, do I want to... I only have one bird in the bin. They're probably getting the bird back this turn. So I think if they're getting the bird back this turn, I'm just going to go ahead and like take a hit for 9 here and then untapping Cleansing Nova. I guess I don't guaranteed have another... God, that's a lot of damage. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and kill this, I think. Yeah, I agree, Wax Papers. Magic in general, like, there are a number of things about Magic where you're like, well, this really wasn't designed with digital in mind. I'm glad I didn't try and gamble on using the Cleansing Nova there since we bricked off. Alright, white mana please. White mana please. White mana, please. Oh, goodbye, friends. Come back later. They're not out of it yet. We're tapped out here and they get a chance to deploy more stuff. They are choked on 4 mana though, so there is a chance that they might not be able to bring the Phoenix back this turn, which would be ideal for us. Hold on, folks, I'm gonna do it again. This will be the cleanest game of Standard by the time we're done. Pretty likely to have an untapped land here, right? Which means they're gonna get the bird back. Ideally, I would like to draw a red source next turn now and play this Niv-Mizzet. If we get Niv into play, some of these decks have a Bacon Bolt in the main, but other than Bacon Bolt, the Niv should lock things up pretty quickly. That's unfortunate. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and play Teferi, and then he'll plus, and then we could Justice Strike this bird.
Show remorse. Hurry!
Hurry! Shut up, Teferi. Nothing about you is fast, Teferi. Don't lie to the people. So, Burn player, once I have my schedule set for the evening, I don't shuffle it around except for extremely large donations. Because otherwise it just like encourages people to like nickel and dime during the stream, which is just like really difficult to keep track of. So, not to say no to your money, but I'm gonna tell you that, yeah, I'm gonna say no. So the rule is, and to stay fair, this is the rule for everybody. If you want to shuffle my queue, you have to put a deck to 100 points to reorder it or to cut something in. Huh. So do I just Lava Coil plus Justice Strike here? There's no other birds in here, right? So coil this, strike this, cast Search for Azcanta, go. I'm pretty likely to hit a red source for next turn, ideally. We're 1 card in our graveyard away from flipping Azcanta over. We're looking to dodge maximize velocity at this point. Drake into velocity would be real bad for the home team. I'm planning on streaming tomorrow. I don't have anything on my schedule for Thursday. I'll be back Friday for sure. I might do some artifact tomorrow morning, but I haven't figured out exactly when I'm going to the gym yet. Thursday and Friday are my gym days since I don't stream in the morning guaranteed. Double shock, rude.
Want me to phase you out of time?
Want me to phase you out of time? You want me to punch you in the face? Pesky blue-red player? I am Teferi, I am very annoying. I am Teferi, I am very annoying. Annoying. Do I go to 5? I think so. YOLO. YOLO Swaggins. Paint me like one of your French girls. Ooh. Niv with the lie down. So this is a Lava Coil, right? This is a Lava Coil. They've already played 2 shocks, right? 3 shocks? 1, 2, 3. They don't. This deck doesn't usually play Lightning Strike. I'm gonna no blocks. Come at me, Goblin Electromancer. They usually don't play Strike. There's a lot of variation in these archetypes still. Yeah, there's 3 shocks in their bin, and they often don't play Strike because Lava Coil is much better in the mirror and much better against green black. Yeah, hopefully we get to like Clarion this Niv and lifelink it, and then just like smack him in the face. Yeah, we get to draw, we get to gain life off these draws as well. No, I dealt 2 to their Electromancer. I dealt 1 to the Electromancer twice. Yeah, he's got lifelink, and Niv's trigger. Niv deals the damage. If they have maximized velocity, we could die here. Drake into maximize is going to kill us. Oh, so I didn't want to do the damage with Niv and have the Clarion kill the Goblin, because then my Niv would die to their 4th copy of Shock. And I'm like, I'm so far ahead that I might as well just play around their 4th copy of Shock. Because the Clarion would deal 3 damage to my Niv as well. Alright, so extra binding's great, extra coil's great, our own Drakes seem reasonable. Cleansing Nova seems kind of clunky. Explosion seems kind of clunky. This seems fine. I don't think this is a distinct full stroke matchup. Deafening Clarion's like kind of medium. I guess it's good just for the lifelink half. Why do I need Nova? Oh, he's playing the Mystic. Yeah, you're super right. The Birdman. I thought you were saying, like, he's got birds, man. You need Nova. I was like, what? The Birdman. He's got the Murmuring Mystic. We killed 2 Murmuring Mystics. That's a good call. He's got the Birdman. You need Nova to kill the Birdman. What does Banefire come in against? The Mirror, I would imagine. Again, this is a viewer deck list like a lot of the decks that we play, so this isn't necessarily my sideboard. 3 Banefires is probably excessive if I had to venture a guess. I would just like to state that the Ixalan's bindings in this deck have been A+. Been extremely happy with that card. It's very good in this format, I think. Just super flexible. It leaves a lot to be desired against exactly green-black, but again, I think Jeskai as an archetype has a lot of good tools there, so you can afford to have a card that's not great. Does it go with your... It should ask you, MTG Burn player. Should ask you to log in or click from PayPal. Banefires are usually Stars of Extinction. I don't think so necessarily. Yep, not a problem, Beck. Insight's not a terrible draw. You like binding their Chupacabras. Binding's just a pretty big liability against green-black because it... What's the word I'm searching for? Because it just dies to their planeswalkers and stuff like that. And they just get their thing back right away. So I think I'm going to just take a hit from this Drake for a turn and just Chemister's Insight. I'd like to prioritize saving this for a Phoenix. Sure. This is post-board, so my opponent's likely to have some amount of counter spells in their deck right now. They are more likely to have Bacon Bolts as well. Post-board, they bring that in as a way to take Niv-Mizzet off the table. So now I have to discard to hand size, so... I think I'm just gonna go ahead and Justice Strike this Electromancer. I'm gonna pick a fight here, I think. Just guaranteed to use my mana, and then next turn I could just like windmill big Niv. Do I have a favorite build? It was the Sultan X I was playing last week. I think I like the build with the 4 ramp spells in it that we found online that did well in the mocks. I think that was my preferred one with a couple of small adjustments that we made in that video. Burn Player, thanks for the $10 tip. I appreciate it. Your first time donating a stream, put this towards Mono Green Stompy. Will do. Thanks for the support. So this is going to bring their bird back. Maybe it was greedy not to kill this Drake sooner. I just don't have that many actual hit points in this matchup. Or sorry, killed the Drake sooner is what I meant. Yeah, like I drew another one of these, but like I didn't have to like take that hit for 6 there if I would have Lava Coiled more aggressively. That was a very good draw, you're not wrong. And again, just like, I feel like Maximize Velocity, if you've played Modern before, Maximize Velocity out of the Drake deck feels like Teamer Battle Rage out of the Death Shadow decks. I'm always just like, well, I've got this game locked up, but I'm really far ahead, except if they Maximize Velocity me. If they Maximize Velocity me, I'm completely stone cold dead. And then some people don't play it for some reason. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. The old Golgari. We did get got by a Golgari at some point. Ooh. Ooh, that's pretty good. I was wondering if they were going to bring the Phoenix back, but I like their sequencing here, jamming this while I have less counter spells up. All right, it's a good pickup. I really like this card out of their deck. It's like a proactive answer to Niv-Mizzet. It's a card that like takes Niv off the table for them, but like also does something when I don't have Niv. There's only one bird in here, right? Yeah. Yes, this is it, Digitech Wire. I had accidentally knocked it off my list when I was pushing stuff around. Revisioning on Google Docs are awesome, by the way. Like poked in, I was like, oh look, it's right there. Let's just do it. All right, kill me. Yeah, that's true too. It's also a removal spell for Niv that doesn't trigger him, so they can kill him without giving me a card first. What L's list did you decide? You can find all of my deck lists on my website. The deck lists that don't directly have their own page up there, because not every deck that I play has its own page. You can find all the deck lists in the YouTube video descriptions as well. Do you have a Bacon Bolt? If they don't have a Bacon Bolt and we get to untap, we're going to be in an incredible spot. Show me potato salad. I have to block here. Just can't. Ooh, that's a pretty good one. So you need double counter here. And even if they have another counter here, their Crackling Drake's still gonna die, right? Because I got a trigger from the Chemister's Insight, a trigger from their Negate, a trigger from my Ionize, and a trigger from their next counter here. Oh, jeez. Oh, that's not good for me. All right. All right, change of plans. Change of plans. All right, that was a good dive down. All right, so they're gonna force my Niv off the table here. And if they find Bacon Bolt, that is just lethal next turn, because they're gonna kill my Niv and then kill me. No attacks. We're on Tradesies duty. I binned Teferi over Ral because Ral is a removal spell and Teferi is a temporary fix to a permanent problem. The biggest reason people thought Niv wasn't going to be good is for the same reason that gets people all the time. People always forget that the power level of Magic cards is format contextual, which means when we come into a new standard format, people often forget the fact that like all the old stuff is rotated away and we need to look at things in a brand new light.
I won't hide from the world. Hold that thought.
Hold that thought. There's a bird in here, right? I'm dead to a second bird here, actually. I am dead to a second bird. My take on the traditional Drake's list is a bit different. Should I put it through the Google form? Yes, you should always use the Google form. Always use the Google form.
We need to move quickly.
Google form just helps me stay organized. So if I play Ral, I can't hold up Ionize. So I'm just gonna go ahead and pass. Do we coil the bird? Nah. Bacon bolt. Stop it. Alright, going down to 2. Ooh, doggy. We found a piece of candy, chat. We found a piece of nummy dragon shaped candy. Nummy Niv-Mizzet candy.
No time for a break.
Boop. Boop him on the nose. Alrighty, and we just burned through their beacon bolts here too, so let's go. Do. Boop. Boop. Alrighty then, I'm not going to do a full shell, but Arena is taking a nap. Thanks for hanging out today, folks. Welcome if you're a new viewer. My name is Jeff Hoagland. I stream full-time here on Twitch. I play pretty much nothing but Magic. We have played a little bit of Artifact recently, though. We play all constructed on this channel. We play a ton of Standard. Here on Arena, we also play Modern on Magic Online. If you're enjoying my stuff, make sure you hit that follow button. Following the stream doesn't cost you anything. It lets you know when I go live and with what. If you really enjoy what I do here, the reason I'm able to be here full-time like I am is because of my wonderful subs, so please consider subscribing to my channel. Fast subscribing and also support my stuff by checking out some of my very wonderful sponsors over here. They are fantastic. These folks, also fantastic. All right, Arena is alive and well. Let's head back on in for a wrap-up segment here on Jeskai Control. Thoughts on this build? We played 4 matches total there. We beat up Grixis twice. I punted to an Esper deck, and then we ended up beating Drakes at the end there. I actually really kind of liked a lot of what this build has going on. I like the 3 Teferi, 2 Ral, 2 Niv split. I think that's a good clean split on threats that you're playing. I think Ral's very good to be playing right now because there's so many opposing Niv-Mizzets that this is a card that kills their Niv without triggering it to let them draw a card. And like, while Teferi gets rid of Niv, it gets rid of it very temporarily, right? This is a card that's, it's not like lots of other things. You can like tuck a problem with Teferi and then hold a counterspell up for it when it comes back down. Niv's resolving. So having a good clean way like this to get rid of these is great. Ixalan's Binding, good for a lot of the same reason. I also think this card's just very good in general right now. This card's very good against Drakes. It's good in the mirror. It leaves a little bit to be desired against explicitly green-black, but you can board that out in these matchups. I felt like the sideboard in this list left a little bit to be desired. I think 2 more Expansion Explosions and 3 Banefires is kind of silly. I think rather than having these style of cards for the control matchups, I'd much rather have... I think things like Crackling Drake and Lyra are more the direction I would like to move in rather than cards like these. I'm not a big fan of Banefire in general against the discard-based control decks, which makes Banefire pretty narrow. Like, this card would basically explicitly be for like just the Jeskai mirror, and I think for a card like that, I wouldn't want more than 1 copy of it. this board probably lacks a little bit of respect for the aggressive decks. Like, I feel like a couple copies of Seal Away or Shivan Fire or something like that is additional cheap removal, rather than leaning on just Deafening Clarion is probably great. Lyra is also another card that, while it's a supplemental threat, it's also very good against the aggro deck, so I wouldn't mind seeing a couple copies of her in here.